Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Riverdale, Season 1, Episode 9. It's called Chapter 9, The Grand Illusion. Yes, I translated it because I knew what it said, so it's fine.
Still, why would you do that?
Okay, fine. La Grande Illusion.
Much better.
Mainly because, I know, I've not seen that movie, but I know of that movie, and I've always heard the English. I mean, it's not a vastly different title, obviously, but I've always heard it
Yeah,
said in English, which is why when I seen it, I just went, The Grand Illusion.
I get you, but just do it how it's written.
It's funny how some movies, like some foreign movies, we always just hear the foreign title and we always call it the foreign name. But there's some other movies
Mm.
where, for some
We
reason,
we translate it.
yeah,
Yeah,
it seems to pick and choose.
I think it depends on how it flows when it translated. Some of
Yeah,
them just won't work.
that's true. That's true. You can always just pick a different title though that gets the meaning across, but sounds
Could do
cool.
that.
You could do
Should we
that.
talk about Riverdale?
We should talk about Riverdale. So full spoilers for the episode and some interesting developments. I will say I enjoyed this. It's like I'm kind of realizing how trashy this show is, but I'm
But it's sucked you
enjoying
in
it.
now at this point.
Yeah, I'm sucked into it. This might be, in a roundabout way, the creepiest episode of the show yet,
Yeah.
because the Blossoms essentially were trying to replace their own son with Archie,
Yes, and also pimp out Cheryl.
or they were trying to pimp Archie to Cheryl. Because they were paying him. They were not paying him directly, but they were giving him things. Here,
Yeah,
we'll,
yeah.
we'll put you into this music school. We'll make sure your dad gets work. We'll stop
But
messing
but
around.
she was she was kind of the bait almost.
Yeah, but it felt like they had to convince him to go with her. Like
Yeah,
he was
yeah,
like, "Nah, we're just friends. I've got Valerie." Not anymore. He doesn't. But
no,
like
yeah.
they'll try to and she has to convince him. And as the episode went on, it got creepier when like, "Oh right, oh you came to this tree tapping thing where we have the syrup." Which,
Mm,
by the way, I love Jughead's opening monologue where he's talking about how syrup's thicker than blood and water and all that. It was just really funny.
great.
But no, so they have him at this tree tapping thing, and it's winter at this part of the show now. Where there's snowfall everywhere. I'll have to admit, all the Blossom extended family show up, and they're all redheads.
Yeah.
And I have to admit, there was this really surreal moment where it's when they're all walking after the actual tree tapping, and it's the two aunt and uncle or whoever it is in front of
Yeah.
Archie and Cheryl start like talking about the parents and like, oh, awful, and that Cheryl's a menace and whatever they said.
You realize this is why they've picked Archie.
Of course, yes, because he's
He fits in.
yeah. Of course, well, because they turn around and it's when like Archie's confronting them, which I both liked and disliked because it was like, oh, Archie's still being perfect and not
Yeah.
like, but at the same time, fair enough, right? It's actually kind of nice that he's sticking up for her because no one else seems to. But there was this weird moment. I'm like, wait a minute, these two old people are ginger as well. This is just there's like a scene
That's it.
on my TV. Not only was it four gingers in a conversation and a scene, it was snow, so it was all white and then
And then
ginger.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like really standing out.
That's why they've picked Archie. It's so that when they stick him in a lineup with the family, he doesn't look out of place.
Well, we've already talked about how Cheryl like sees him in the jacket with the same number as her brother, and she gets
Yeah,
confused. And at one point in this, like, it's the mother who says, "Oh, sometimes in a certain light, Archie," and I'm like, "This is creepy.
it is.
This is
It is
super
very
creepy."
creepy.
Oh dear. But it was fun. I can't deny I didn't
It
have
was.
fun.
And and like you said, this is really trashy, and it's gotten to that point. If it had started like this, I don't know if I'd have kept watching. But because it kind of waited till when it did, I got sucked in, and now it's like I suppose I'm into it now.
So there was fun things from the whole Archie thing. He was in that ridiculous red suit. He looked like a right tit.
He did. He did.
That red bow tie with the red suit jacket. Oh my god. Oh, it's
Mm,
just the worst.
pretty much.
And unfortunately, when he kind of rejects Cheryl, who acts insulting, it's like he's clearly you've bribed him both times to come and be your date.
Yeah, yeah. You brought over the guitar.
It's quite clear. Yeah, you came and gave him a gift. You're trying to buy him. Is essentially what's happening, and you're shocked when he's like, "Eh, no, I got a girlfriend. This is weird. I'm leaving. Can't do this." And it was like,
Can't use
cause
that excuse next time, though, can he?
next time when what?
When the blossoms come knocking, he can't go. Sorry, I've got a girlfriend.
Oh, sure, yeah, sure. Because Valerie's quite rightly said, "You keep ignoring me," and it feels like that way because we've barely seen her. So it almost feels like just by the fact that we've not seen her around with Archie that much,
it retroactively feels smart.
Yeah, it does. I don't know if it is smart, but it feels like they've tidied it
They've
up
worked
nicely.
it in nicely, yeah.
Because when she says, "Oh, you've basically been ignoring me," and I'm like, "Yeah, it kind of has. That's fair."
Yeah, and it kind of feels like the show, like, I don't know if it was intentional that she just wasn't in it that much, or if it's just a coincidence and they were like, hey, let's justify it with this.
Yeah. But hey, at least I know her name, unlike the third pussycat who. She's the drummer. I mean, that's all I can tell you.
No one cares about the drummers, do they?
Yeah, no one cares about drummers. Uh, you can tell Connor's a musician because musicians like to make fun of drummers. It's
We do. We
kind
do.
of their pastime.
I can't help it.
For my short time in a swing band in school, the drummer got shit on repeatedly by all the brass.
It's just part of the gig.
Yeah. So obviously the fallout from this is that Cheryl is really upset and distraught, and she calls Archie out and says, "Oh, I thought you were better than everyone else, but really you were just doing this for stuff." And I'm like, Archie, stick up for yourself, because as much as I do think you're too perfect, you did try and decline the offers. You did try and give up your reward so that your dad's business would not suffer from the feud. Like, he tried to do noble enough things. And even then, he didn't go so far where you feel like, oh, he is like completely selling out. He's being tempted. They're dangling in front of him. He sees the benefit of doing it, but then it becomes clear that it's not just a one night thing. They're going to keep, because I mean, like, Daddy Blossom comes up to him and is like, "Yeah, we need a good image for the family, and you're standing next to Cheryl and making her look like not like a crazy little bitch. That really does good for our business empire." Yeah. Like, it was clear that he wanted him to be around and marry her for like.
Yeah. He wants you as the next son.
Yeah, he wants you as Blossom by relation. So
yes.
So super creepy. But I'm like, stick up for yourself, Archie, for the love of Christ. Of course, and we see at the end she's like scratching out Archie's face, and then she's scratching out Polly's face as well. She's not happy with Polly.
Yeah, I'm not sure why. Polly didn't seem to do anything wrong to her.
As of yet, I think it's because she knows that the children, because we find out Polly's having twins. They
yes.
find that out. Which, to be fair, twins do usually run in families, and we know that Cheryl was a twin, so not that it would have to have a setup, but it's nice that it does. It's like, it makes sense.
Yeah. And the creepy grandma was right.
She was right, and I think she's maybe seen that the children of her, like the grandchildren, almost might end up being the.
Yeah, like that. Like her father will pick one of them as the heir instead of her.
He'll hold on long enough in his wheelchair when he's really, really old, and just long enough that the grandkids are ready to go. Two red-headed stepchildren into the world.
Yes, exactly.
Unless Polly's genes win.
They could. I mean, a ginger is a recessive gene after all, so she would have to carry it.
Not recessive enough.
That's fair. Can't really argue with that.
Do you know what? See, during that scene I talked about earlier with the snow with the four gingers on screen, I was actually thinking just before that scene, I want to try and pull back on the ginger jokes, just on Riverdale, because I feel like it's too obvious and easy to do it because there are so many redheads in the show.
And then this is probably the most you've done them yet.
He gave me a scene with four gingers in the snow. How can I not do that? And then they put him in that stupid red tuxedo thing. And, like, it's impossible. I can't not make fun of this stuff.
I know. Even as a ginger, it's just like, yeah, go ahead.
Oh dear. Right. So that's that plot. Obviously, actually, do you know what I liked about this episode? I liked that all the plots kind of had natural connections where Betty's worried about Polly, so she asks Archie while he's at said tapping.
Yeah, it was much better than last week's.
Yeah.
Very disconnected plots in that sense.
So she's very dismissive at first, she doesn't want to talk to him, but then she reveals during the dance scene in the later scene that, she's actually not picked the Blossom, she didn't trust them, she believes they're behind the death, and she is actually investigating.
She's a mole.
Which I actually really liked. I actually think this, because last week when she made that choice, we were like, I guess she's just selling out, and we weren't really sure, but whereas this feels a lot more, alright, this makes more sense.
Yeah. She should probably still call her mum, though.
She probably should, but she says she's trying to make it believable. So she's like, I'm done with the Coopers. I'm all Blossom now all the time. So yeah, and I think that's maybe another thing is maybe just because she's carrying the grandchildren, like Polly's been treated even better than she and Cheryl is by her parents now. Because you're holding our little ginger gems, whereas that crazy.
It's the father especially is looking at Polly and by proxy the kids and going, you're the future, not Cheryl. This is the future of the family. There was a lot of talk of legacy in this episode, and he's thinking of them as his legacy, not Cheryl. Clearly,
And it's funny because Daddy Blossom gets he's impressed when Archie tries to like give up his rewards to like help his dad,
yeah,
and he's impressed by that because he's not sure if Jason could do it. And what I kind of like about that is Archie is, as much as he's a bit too perfect, he does always try and help his dad, and it's almost this way that Archie's dad, by just being a decent parent and a decent human being, has this natural legacy where his son will fight for him.
yeah,
Whereas Cheryl is like,
yeah.
like,
But I did like that, like you said, Daddy Blossom looked at that and he kind of respected it,
yeah.
and it made him want him in the family even more. I think.
I think even thematically it links up nicely with the Veronica plot, where
does?
she's learning that she doesn't want to be part of her father's legacy and she wants to be separate. So
Yeah.
I'll give this episode some.
As trashy as it was, it thematically all ties together quite nicely.
And I don't think there was any of the plots that I didn't like either. I thought they all gave me something. So to jump over to the Coopers, since we talked about Polly, we'll get into that. So Mummy Cooper's not in the best image. She's pretending she's okay, and she's like, oh, I'll write a thing exposing this. And obviously Archie overhears the Blossoms. They're responsible for sending Hiram Lodge to prison. So the tangled web all connecting here. And they even say, oh, maybe I should just send his wife to prison instead, implying that she's just as culpable.
Which I think is fair. I mean, we've kind of seen that she knew the whole time. She's in on the whole thing.
I mean, I've even speculated that she's more culpable, and we'll find out
Quite
that Hiram's
possibly.
actually not that bad a guy, and it's all been her that's pulling the strings.
Quite possibly, because even now, like Hiram's out of the picture, and she seems very, very capable in dealing with all this.
Yeah, and she's pretending he's the villain, but she keeps like saying, Veronica, let's lie for him, let's do this. And what I liked about the Veronica plot is she starts off by saying, oh, I'm not comfortable with lying, and then Barb shows up, or Ethel, but Barb. Ethel, whatever. Ethanol shows up. she's a bit moody. She reads this poem, and Veronica recognizes it's a bit of a cry for help. She's going through a rough time, and she talks about how she used to bully this girl and nothing. And actually, I was with Kevin the entire time because Kevin kept like, "Wait, did you make her kill herself?" And I was thinking the exact same thing.
Yeah,
she's like, "No, she just went to therapy."
Move schools.
But yeah, we find out Ethel's parents are having this. What, you didn't shit because I said Ethel instead of Ethel?
Yeah, I am.
Give me peace. Right. It's whatever. Barb's parents are struggling because they've got money problems, and we find out from as soon as she says her family name, Burps,
What?
Mugs.
Mugs. I think that's it. Yeah.
We can't remember it exactly, but it was a stupid name of her.
It was, because I get a little chuckle out of it.
But as soon as she hears the name, Hermione's like, oh dear, and you can see it in her eyes like, oh shit, this is their fault. This is another family they're screwing over.
It is Mugs.
It's Mugs, so good. And she tells Veronica, and Veronica's like pissed at this. She's like, what, we're ruining this family's life because... And Hermione's like, oh, that's just the risk of doing business with your father. She writes it off. She's willing to let that go. And it's,
Yeah.
And we've seen this before on the show. We've seen Veronica kind of like question like the morals of everything that her father's done, and Hermione's kind of shot her down before saying, well, what about all those trips to the mall you love doing, all that shopping and all that fancy lifestyle you've become accustomed to. And it kind of shut her down before, whereas here you really see her say, you know what, I don't give a shit, this is wrong.
Yeah. Hermione got really cold here as well. Like, she was just like, yeah, not my problem. Yeah, no, not their own fault.
Yeah.
Whereas before, she's kind of gone, hey, well, she tried to talk Veronica down, but she didn't really try very much in this one.
Because she tries to give Ethel her stuff, and she explains like, oh, it's stuff her dad used to always, and we've heard this before as well, I'm sure. Dad used to buy stuff whenever he'd done something wrong, he missed a birthday or something like that. Yeah, and she's like, oh, but it all feels kind of like, you know, blood money or whatever. You know, it's bribery. It's not. It's just he's trying to buy her, kind of like the Blossoms are trying to buy Archie. Look at all the linking. Look at all the thematic.
It's very good this episode thematically, isn't it?
Thematically, everything's just clicking with each other. It's great. But she explains all this, and then like school the next day. And Kevin, here's a small little detail I like about this. Actually, Kevin tells her what's happened, and I like that because he's the sheriff's son. He would hear about these things.
Yeah, he's connected in that sense.
Yeah, he would be the one who'd hear these things and let people know. It's a small detail, but I appreciate it. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Ethel's dad tried to commit suicide. He survived, but obviously, and it's right as soon as she hears it, and she knows it's her dad's fault, and that she's part of this legacy, and she cries and she rips off the pearls because she says the pearls she's got around her neck are the one thing that she still kind of likes that she's kept
Yeah.
from her father, and she rips them off, and it's this emotional scene, and they go to the hospital to visit Ethel and her mother, and Veronica, like, it's fine. She gives the flowers, like, oh, we're sorry, we're here for you, but she can't not be honest.
Tell them,
She
yeah.
can't not turn around and tell them what's going on. And of course, as we've seen with the Coopers and the Blossoms, the Mug's mother. I love how we keep referring to the parents as just the surname and then mother or father. But the Mug's mother is immediately just like, oh, your father deserves to rot, which Veronica might agree with at this point. But he also like, oh, don't trust her. She's not your friend. She's like one of his. Like this, like because she's connected, she's one of them.
Yeah.
And it's this again, kind of. It's almost like a blood feud is created in the making here to an extent.
Yes, yeah. But Ethel seems to get over it, and she's like, no, this isn't your fault. She recognizes that. Unlike the parents, the kids seem to have this viewpoint of, hey, this isn't to do with us so much.
Yeah, it's kind of this optimistic view of the future. Like, younger people can look at it and go, wait, this is kind of stupid how you've been treating this for years or whatever. And we can advance things, we can evolve, we can develop things. And the fact that kids are a natural evolution of their parents in a sort of strict, sort of biological sense, it kind of works. And again, to tie it into other things, it kind of reminds me with Betty and her parents in this episode. They tried to bring this story about the lodges to Betty's father, who runs the local paper, and he turns it down and he's changed the login. Which, by the way, was I the one who noticed that was like an ancient like Windows 95 computer?
No, it was a big bulky bastard thing.
Big bulky white CRT computer. It was ancient.
Yeah, I mean, seriously.
But
not that expensive for an upgrade from that.
No, it's not. You can spend like $100 and get a cheap little computer that'll do some word processing.
Aye.
And if you're a newspaper, that's probably what you're doing.
Some processing, some browsing.
Yeah, looking up the internet. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's what you need. But hey, maybe one with Photoshop to put all the columns together.
That's true. Well, I mean, you can do columns in Word.
Oh, sure. I mean, obviously, newspapers have been made long before computer photo processing has been invented. But I'm assuming
I think they know what they're doing.
I'm assuming that's how they do it now, though. Like,
I would assume.
Yeah,
so.
I'm assuming that's how they do it now. But
I mean, I assume they have their own program designated just for journalists.
Probably.
There's probably their own one.
They probably spend a fortune to like Adobe or someone who designs a specific thing.
Yeah. I bet they do.
Aye, Adobe. They're a racketeering business, basically.
They are. I do not approve of them switching to that pay monthly subscription format.
Oh, I think there's pros and cons. I think let's not get into it, but there's pros and cons.
Yeah, sure.
There's pros and cons. There is things I like about it, but at the same time, it's like if I just want one program, you're kind of screwing me over here.
Yeah.
But hey, so where are we? Oh yeah, so Betty's mum gets kicked out of the office and she's pissed. Betty's with her, and she did say, we actually didn't speak about the line last week, but she did drop a line last week to her husband. We both know what I'm capable of, right? Implying that she's maybe
done some stuff in the past.
Yeah, got a temper or something like that.
Yeah.
And she gets a little upset here, and she picks up a rock. And Betty's just standing behind her all the time, like, "Holy shit, what are you doing, mother? Stop it, mum, stop it!" And she throws the rock at the window and smashes it. And really, at least a really nice scene with Jughead and Betty, where Betty's breaking down and Jughead's like, "No, you're holding this family together," and he's right. All the teenagers are holding their families together in this show because the parents are all a bunch of
another
tits.
thematic link here between her family. Like she's in the middle of this war between her parents, and so is Ethel. And
yeah. So we got all this, and all that's happening, and so I liked. I think all three of those main plots were solid. Obviously, at the end, Betty comes and gives the new information that Polly's not betrayed them. She is investigating, and again, they're making her mother a bit more sympathetic, a bit more human.
And her mother's like, "Yeah, let's take this bitch down."
Yes, the Coopers are finally on a united front. Like this.
Yeah.
But of course, the other information about Hiram being the result of the Blossoms, like him going to prison, it does mean he is now a suspect in the case. Obviously, Polly thinks it's the Blossoms to fault, and now we have Hiram on the board, and they all feel like pretty viable suspects at this point.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised with any of these choices at the minute.
Yeah, they all still seem quite. Even Betty's dad still feels like a viable suspect. I mean, I think they're all maybe two of us. I feel like they're either going to give us a proper swerve where it's none of these suspects, or it will be one of the like 3 or 4 that are obvious, and it's just a case of which one is it.
Yeah, because there's enough that are too obvious that it could be one of them. So.
If there was one too obvious one, no way it's them. But because there's like 3 or 4, it's like, well, they could. It becomes like a case of which one is it. The real surprising one, though, the most shocking example would probably be Fred Andrews if it turns out to be.
Oh,
him.
Definitely.
Speaking
of, we had the stuff between him and Hermione.
He did. That was sort of the fourth plot. Not as big as the other ones, but it was there.
Yeah.
Where she has to admit to him that her and Hiram own the land and that he's secretly working for them. He, of course, is not pissed. She fesses up about the goons being from Hiram, and Fred wants nothing to do with it, but he ultimately decides that he can't really afford to, and he wants to sort of finally not feel like a puppet, so he demands like 20% stake and says, I'll stay on, but everything's legal, everything's above board. Oh, and by the way, we're done.
Yeah.
So Archie got dumped. Fred did the dumping in this episode.
Yeah. Nice bit of symmetry there.
Nice bit of symmetry. Here's my question. Now, did Archie keep the guitar? Because he already had it. So unless they break into his house, they take it away from him. He's at least got a good Les Paul guitar out of it.
I could give it back, I suppose, but
Oh no.
It's a gift.
You can't take back the guitar. Oh my god. So it's funny. They keep sort of like dancing me around with Cheryl, where I'm not really sure where like I almost think, oh, she's going to be anti-Blossom and she's going to become like an ally to the rest of them, and then she like this episode, like it seemed like it was going that direction, and then it swerved, and
now it feels like she's kind of on her own. Like she's against Archie, she's against Polly, but she's against her parents as well.
She's a wild card. She's the right.
She is the wild card.
Which is fine. That's every team, every show needs a wild card.
Exactly.
The only wild cards. So there you go. That's this week's Riverdale. That was a pretty solid episode. I mean, it's definitely because as much as I think it's trashy, it's kind of well written trash. At least this episode was, because it like the way it set up the pearls. It set up like when Veronica got upset, I completely understood why she was upset, why the guilt she's feeling. It just all worked. It all clicked together.
Yeah, I think for me it's the fact that it really flowed as an episode. It was like last week I had the problems with how separate and the plots were. And that was kind of the trashy stuff that doesn't work for me, when it's just like feels like trash for the sake of it.
Yes.
Whereas here everything kind of played into each other and it linked and it worked. So it's like, okay, I buy it. It works a lot better for me.
Hopefully this is them finding their footing, as it often shows do.
Yeah, definitely.
And I'm looking forward to Hiram in season 2, and they've built him up so much. I'm waiting for him, and hopefully a glorious moustache.
I hope he's this like. I almost hope he's this tiny little guy. You know, everyone's scared of him. You think of like some imposing figure,
Sure.
And he's just this tiny little dude.
But he needs a mustache.
That's fine. He can have a mustache.
Yeah, good. So we're clear.
It's fine.
At least I'm not thinking making that. I'm sure he's always got a mustache.
I'm
really sure he does.
Archie comics, so.
Oh well, doesn't matter. Let us know what you thought of this episode in the comments below. Like and subscribe and all that stuff. Helps out a lot. Get us on Twitter at mailed_fuzz for channel updates. Individual Twitters are on the screen. But that's about us, guys. So thank you very much for watching, and have you got any vanilla?